Hello, hello. Welcome back to another episode of Three Slips and Silly Points. We're down to two slips because all the Champions Trophy pitches are going to support spinners, so you don't need the third slip. Nah,
Yeah.
Randeep's just been busy with life, so we thought we'll give him a bit of a break while we continue to
Busy
talk
he
about
is.
cricket.
Busy he is.
Why, what, will reveal soon.
Yeah, potentially.
Cool, cool. There's a lot of cricket happening. The ongoing second test between Sri Lanka and Australia. The lost try series is again come back with Pakistan, New Zealand, and South Africa. Playing in a try series leading into Champions Trophy, and also the India-England ODI series. We wrapped up game one at the time of recording in about 5 to 6 hours is where the game two is going to commence. So yeah, let's get into the episode. Starting off with the Sri Lanka Australia test. I must say, when Smith is playing, it looks like a different pitch altogether. And then the rest of the
Yeah.
team, not just Australia, but even Sri Lanka in their home conditions are struggling.
Yeah. I mean, for even Carey smashed it though. Carey got a
Oh,
massive
yeah.
100. And it's his
Yeah.
first 100 in Asia. So,
Oh, wow.
um,
Something memorable
yeah,
to
huge.
go with as well.
Yeah. And like, I think Sri Lanka's still on struggle street, even at home again.
Hmm.
So yeah, this just kind of pulls out the doubt that people had if India does this, Sri Lanka can beat them 2-0 and we'll
Oh,
somehow get
yeah.
into the finals. Well, nope, no thank you.
No.
Not gonna happen. They'll dominate everywhere. And to be honest, at this rate, I
Uh,
reckon they deserve to win even the
the Champions
finals.
Trophy.
Because
Yeah. Yeah.
if you
Sorry.
compare with what South Africa's the mace, the test mace, yeah.
Uh, oh, yeah.
Like if
100%.
if you compare it to what South Africa's done, they have not gone around the world dominating countries. Australia now
And
has proven that they can.
I mean, to me, in the relative context between the test that India played, England played, Australia, and South Africa, yeah, I don't think South Africa. Yep, they've somehow managed. They didn't rig the system or anything, but just the points or the way the scoring system works just handed them a chance into the finals. But yeah, I don't think. Yeah, like you've said, see England, they've toured the world to prove their or get their. They play close to 20 odd games, the most by any
Yeah, yeah,
teams. India and Australia as well. They've played in various conditions. South Africa just managed to sneak in, but it's a system. There's a flaw in the system which needs to be fixed up, but this time it went in South Africa's favor. But yeah,
yeah,
Australia, that partnership with Smith and Carey is what put them in the driving seat. If not, it could have been a very close game because if you see, apart from these two players, everyone else in that squad struggled. Right?
yeah. But I mean,
The
but Carey took the game away. I mean, he scored at a strike rate of 80. Like that's
Yeah.
almost a one-day innings, and he smoked it all around.
Oh,
So
yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, if again,
okay,
Carey and Smith, if you take away those there too and look at the rest, Quadra with 36 and Bo Webster with 31 are your next highest scores, and then there's a streak of team that could not get into double digits.
yeah,
So
yeah,
yeah, if it were not for these two big hundreds, 130 odd by Smith and 150 plus by Carey, we would have had a decent game in our hands.
yeah. And like the other thing is, I think with like people like Bo Webster, even like playing 60 balls, that probably allowed someone like Carey to smash the ball around town, right?
Yeah.
Um, and like him staying on the other end for 60 balls just means that he would have added another 80 odd runs at the rate he was going. So like people just like batting time, like someone like Mitchell Stark going for 29 balls. That's a massive deal, also, right? When you compare it to like the Sri Lankan side, where everyone either scored runs or just quickly got out.
Yeah,
Um, so
I think
yeah,
they
like
did.
I don't know how they'll make a comeback. Yeah,
Yeah, I don't. I mean, I think at this point, it's at the time of recording. Sri Lanka is leading by 54 runs, but it is quite evident that Australia has got the second game in their basket as well. Um,
yeah, yeah,
Talking about Sri Lanka, they've had a couple of players that did try to score big, or that did have a big score. First innings it was Chandimal and Kushal Mendes. Yeah, it's the 70s and 80s. Second innings it's Angelo Matthews. But I think at this point, one is convert those starts into big centuries, and then bat long, bat deep. They did manage to bat the entire day on day one, but score line was they were what 220 odd for 8 or 9,
yeah.
which
So
is not what you wanted again, especially against Australia and the form that they are in.
yeah, yeah, exactly. I mean, Kusal Mendes performed well in both innings, by the looks of it. But it'll be interesting to see. Like if they can stay in the field and score 100 more runs, basically triple their lead from what they have right now, then they might be in for something. Given the pitch will be a lot older,
Yeah,
and I'm sure their spinners will extract some sort of magic out of it. But if they roll out for another like 10, 15 runs, because then you have two more wickets left,
yeah, they
then
only
this
have two
game
more
straight
wickets.
up is
Only
done.
only Kushal Mendes is the renowned batsman there. The rest are two bowlers for Sri Lanka that are yet to come in.
Yeah,
Um, but yeah, I think at this point it's quite safe to say Australia have got the series 2-0.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Wow. I, to be honest, didn't expect this level of performance going into the series from Australia, especially like in
Wow.
a spin track. Like the
Yeah.
ball was spinning from like I'd say third session of day one, and it was spinning square.
Well, it's so evident because Australia have consistently opened with Mitchell Stark on one end and a spinner on the other end. So, if your visiting team have changed that visiting team that's predominantly pace dominated are opening with a spinner, it shows that it's a textbook spinning track. Um, it's nice to see that Australia is starting to dominate. The good old times
Yeah,
where irrespective of conditions, they rock up, score big runs. This gives you the flavor of that early 2000s team led by Ponting.
yeah. The other crazy observation I think I have is I think Smith as a captain is a different batter altogether. It's like he somehow coughs up runs in all conditions as soon as
Yeah.
he's the captain of the team. Oh, get him out. Get him out as
Well,
captain.
I'm sure Australian selectors have got a keen eye on that fact leading into the
For the
finals of
Champions Trophy.
both Champions Trophy and the World Test Championship. So Cummins is out for Champions Trophy anyways. So, the likelihood of Smith
Yeah.
leading from the front with Travis Head likely being a vice captain.
They-
That's
they're saying he'll be the captain, which makes
uh,
sense to be honest. I mean, I don't think Smith is as good when it comes to ODIs anyway. I mean, he averages like mid 30s,
yeah.
roughly.
But when he
Uh,
turns into a captain, a different Smith rocks up, which is more scarier.
that's all good. I'll live a day knowing he's not the captain in ODIs.
Oh well, moving on. A tri-series, ODI tri-series, which I don't think we have seen a tri-series for a really long time now in ODIs. So Pakistan, New Zealand, and South Africa. Games being played in Pakistan, um, in and around the newly stood up stadiums or grounds where Champions Trophy is being played. First game wrapped up yesterday between New Zealand and Pakistan. New Zealand convincingly won the game. Uh, 330 is what they scored. Pakistan bundled up for 252.
Yeah. I reckon it was a massive effort from Glenn Phillips to get them to that massive score. I think in the
Oh
end,
yeah,
because
yes,
that's a massive 100, a 70 ball 100 at the end of the innings. Because I actually felt like Williamson and Mitchell, went really slow at the start, and I think Mitchell
yeah.
kind of made up for it, but I don't think
But Williamson lost track of it. Yeah,
Williamson, yeah. But like, I think this is also his comeback into cricket, right? Because I don't think he's played international cricket in a while. So still a decent score, scoring a 58 for a comeback game.
yeah.
Um, Scary what happened to Rachin in the field while fielding.
Oh,
I hope
far
he's
out.
all
Yeah.
good. Like I hope
Hopefully,
yeah, he can play in the Champions Trophy.
yeah.
Um,
For me, with the way the blood was bleeding out of his head, uh, uh, I think you just on a precautionary, just give him a week or two's rest, right? Just take him out of this
all
series.
guaranteed.
Focus
Yeah,
on
yeah.
Champions Trophy. But yeah, going back into the game, yeah, I think New Zealand lost two quick wickets at the start. So the innings of Kane Williamson and Darren Mitchell, and rationale why they were just knocking the ball around is to sort of not lose any further wicket while keep the ball rolling. But yeah,
Yeah, which
Glenn
makes
Phillip,
sense.
last five over or the last wicket partnership is 76 from 26 balls. So
Damn.
yeah, yeah. Last 4 to 5 hours of the game, it was mad crazy rush. Yeah, but
What?
uh, in a slow turning or in a subcontinent pitch, for New Zealand to rock up and perform, and knowing that New
Yeah.
Zealand is in the same group as India, this is a strong force to watch out.
And New Zealand is India's kryptonite at ICC events. They
Yes.
always lose to them. Um, but I actually think that 330 could have easily been close to 350 if Will Young had stayed for like 5 overs. Because the way that guy goes about his business, like minimum strike rate would be 140, 150.
Yeah.
He only looks like
Yeah.
he's like the young Sawag. Just goes and flays the ball to the boundaries.
Yeah. And I think
Um,
losing him in the first over sort of forced New Zealand to reassess the game situation. And then Rachin was out pretty quick as well. 25. He did score at a decent pace, but by eighth over, if you lose both of your openers and you're scoring at
gotta,
five and over at that point, yeah, it made sense for Ken Williamson's innings to go a bit slow.
yeah,
But
yeah, for
but
sure.
we all know the sort of dangerous player he is if he stays any longer. Had he been there for had he not lost his wicket, for sure is a big century headed there as
Oh,
well.
guaranteed. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Um,
Um, talking of,
did you get a chance to look at the bowling for Pakistan?
oh man, I was
So
just getting there. Shahin Shah Afridi gets 3 wickets, which is good, but gives 88 runs,
that's right. But the
which
anomaly I think in this was Haris Rauf. His economy. I've never seen it being this low before. That guy always goes
yeah.
for like 7 runs, 8 runs, 9 runs and over.
Well, looks like he and Shahin Shah sort of had a pact saying, all right, I'm going to go economical. You take my load of extra runs.
Yeah, yeah. But I think he's injured right now. He was out because it looks like he didn't finish his over. He must have been out.
Yeah, yeah. He was injured. Hopefully nothing serious, and he makes a
Yeah.
recovery. Um, Talking about Pakistan's batting, high expectations from Babar, but yeah, relatively, low strike rate, and in a partnership of 50 odd runs with Fakhar, he scored 10 runs. So
Wow.
an anticlimactic innings of Babar in home conditions.
Do you know? But do you know what I find crazy is the return of Fakhar Zaman. Like he was out of the team, out of all setups, and then somehow an ICC tournament comes, and somehow someone gets injured, so he has to be brought back in. And then on his return, he smashes it.
And Pakistan are pretty good at doing this, right? They randomly bring players into ICC tournaments. In the T20 World Cup, they got who's that? Who's the bowler? Left-hand bowler.
Naseem Shah.
No, no, the guy that caught up in match fixing and then made a
Oh,
comeback.
Amir.
Amir,
Amir.
yeah,
Yeah.
they drop him out of
Yeah.
nowhere, and he was written off, and then he makes it into the playing 11. And this time it's Fakhar Zaman.
Yeah.
Well, at least this time they brought in a player who's shown promise, right? Despite
Yeah.
being dropped out of nowhere into this playing 11, he's turns
Yeah.
out to be the top scorer, and he was scoring at a fairly decent pace. He was just
Oh yeah, he
keeping,
smashed it. Yeah.
yeah, he was keeping the Kiwi bowlers on the toes all along until he got out.
Yeah. I find that crazy. Oh wow,
Um,
Harriscroft didn't even come out to bat.
yeah, he was out. He was completely injured from the game.
Wow.
So um, other disappointment from a Pakistan batting order, is Rizwan, who is now the captain as well. He didn't have a good. So no, Babar had a poor game. Rizwan had a poor game. The others sort of tried to, scramble along, but if your two out of top four fail, it's unless you've got a strong middle order, which is not the case at this point. It's a troubled city.
Yeah. But I think Kamran Ghulam in the test matches did decent, right? Because I think he came in for Babar Azam in the test match. When they dropped Babar Azam, they brought in Kamran Ghulam.
Yeah.
But I think is this his debut in the one day scene?
Good
Um,
question. Let the stats guy pull up. No,
nah, this is his
ODIs.
11th
He's
ODI, so he's been playing for a
11th
while.
ODI. Yeah.
Ah,
But again, maybe this is Pakistan just trying to switch the formats from Test to ODI. So
yeah, yeah,
the first game, we can't decide anything of the first game in
yeah.
itself. But overall, New Zealand have put in a pretty dominating performance,
Oh, guaranteed. Yeah,
especially in the same conditions where the Champions Trophy is going to be played as well. So uh, yeah, step one successful for New Zealand. I think in the series we've got South Africa coming in as well, so this will be a good judgment. Uh, New Zealand's going to play South Africa tomorrow, which would be interesting, and also nice to see how South Africa turns up to the subcontinental conditions.
yeah, guaranteed. Um, yeah, cool. Which one is the
Ah,
next game for us, Chai? What are we
next
reviewing?
game,
What are we previewing?
the good old India England series.
I
Uh,
know. Yeah, yeah,
First game, I did say I was watching out Rohit and Kohli, and I did tip it in England's favor this series, as
yeah.
England's gonna get two games
That's okay.
to
They still
India's
have
one.
two more games to win.
Exactly. England's got two more games. They need to win two more games. Um,
But I feel like,
but
yeah.
so
Go on,
the
go on.
game's been an interesting one. Kohli gets injured just the day before. Shreyas Iyer had to cut short his
Well,
movie.
no, but
Don't know what movie
to
he was
be
watching.
honest, no, but to be honest, when Kohli got injured, I thought they added Jaswal in the team, and my brain was just like, what a weird substitution. Like, why would they bring in Jaswal for Kohli, and have Gill play it at one down? This doesn't make any sense. But then, plot twist, after the game you find out, is they were going
It
to
was
drop Talia,
Jaiswal's, and
and
I
Jaswal
was
was going to debut
surprised to
anyway.
see. I was surprised to see it was. I mean, part of me is like I've seen Jaiswal in T20s. I've seen, basically, which is your white ball cricket these days, and we've seen Jaiswal in Tests. I'm like, no, I'm sure this is not Jaiswal's debut. And then then you see Harshit Rana and Jaiswal doing a debut, and I'm like, and this doesn't make sense. And Kohli's replacement is Iyer. I think he's made a
Not Jaiswal.
statement.
Yeah,
He's made a statement of why he should be part of the core playing 11.
yeah. But I mean,
Yeah.
without that, right? I think if you look at the last 10 ODIs, the man's been averaging 60 runs. So I don't know how they were going to drop a yet. Um, and hopefully it wasn't that he was being dropped. They probably just wanted to try some combinations before Champions Trophy. That could be
Hmm.
the other explanation. Um, but yeah,
Yeah.
apparently, yeah, he got a
I've
call
re-
from Rohit and he ran and went to bed.
but this close to Champions Trophy, right? We have what, two more games.
Yeah,
You probably want to go with your final playing 11 and then only substitute as required. So Kohli's instance makes sense. He was injured. I don't understand why Arshdeep was not part of playing 11. He's
because
your
I don't think he makes your first 11.
oh, far out if that's the case.
Because
Because yeah,
because
Harshit.
they're gonna they need raw pace in Dubai basically is what's happening.
Hmm, so
It's not gonna
they're
swing for
using
long.
Harshit to sort of say, all right, bowl your guts out, And he was doing pretty decent. He got smoked in the initial few overs. That's a
Yeah,
different story.
but then
But had
he also was
a
the reason why we got the wickets, right? So
exactly. But he was bowling his guts out, right? 140s, 149, high in mid. Most of the deliveries were in that 140 plus, which is really nice to
yeah,
see.
yeah.
Um,
Yeah,
Hardik, sorry, go ahead.
yeah.
I
I,
was
I
saying
was just gonna say, I think
you go.
I was just gonna say that guy did bowl, I think, in mid to high like 140s in the first half, but second half his pace did like go down.
Hmm. Well, something to
Yeah.
watch at. It was nice to see Hardik. One is did not open the bowling alongside Shami.
Oh yeah.
We'll come back to Shami in a minute. But Hardik had a 7 overs for 37 runs. For someone who's trying to be the bowling all rounder in the squad and jump in. When you have again three full time spinners, right? Aksar, Kuldeep, and Jadeja. It was nice to see that he came into the mix, which meant Rohit had a lot more options to rotate,
Yeah.
especially when they realized that it was hard. You know, he came in when Aksa was being taken on by the batters as well. So it's nice to see a good brief bowling attack and decent economy. Right, he didn't
Yeah.
give
I
away
mean,
a lot of runs.
especially with like I think Hardik Pandya literally gives you that full balance because in the first half of the lineup he's the like full-fledged bowler. I mean, a batter, sorry. And if you look at the bottom half, he's also a full-fledged bowler
Oh,
with every
correct.
other people. Like he will give you a 10 over spell if the pitch needs a pace bowler. And if it's a turning pitch, then he'll give you 5 to 6 overs, and then you can rotate through your other spinning all rounders.
Shami. Uh, I don't know if you've seen the game. He
Yeah, yeah.
went away. He was sitting on the fence. They again made a comeback. So all of that for me was like, oh my God, is he again out of breath or something?
He's good.
But
He's good. He's good.
he's good. He's good. I like how the ball was talking.
Swinging,
Yeah,
seaming.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
exactly.
I
The
think the
good old
pace
Shami.
is the only part that I have an issue with. I don't think it's still his OG pace yet, but
Yeah, I
that'll
think
take some time by the
yeah,
looks of it. And we
yeah.
might
He's
not get
building.
him at his fastest.
He's Yeah, he's building up. He's building up. At this point, I'm happy if he sees through, 8, 10 overs. I mean, he's allocated quota of 10 overs. If he's bowling there, if he's fit to bowl all 10 overs in the game, I think that's a big tick to start off
Oh,
with.
guaranteed.
Because down the year we got the England Test series, and we need him to do a little more, load sharing with Bumrah. Hopefully, he will be fit by then. So yeah, it was nice to
But
see.
I still think he might need to like set out a few IPL games and rest up. I think, which he's not going to do, obviously. But I reckon if they do that, then I think we'll be in a really good shape for the England series.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, we'll find out. We'll find
I,
out.
I don't know. I'll need to dig this article, but I did hear that the national selectors are going to sort of manage the load of some of these international players in IPL. I may be dreaming about this, but I
Oh
think
yeah, yeah. I
yeah.
mean, if they do, it'll be really good.
Exactly, especially your star bowlers or star batters who one are injury prone or just recovering. So Bumrah, you don't want him to go and play every single all 14 games in IPL even if he's fit. You've got to give him a bit of a break because he's got national duties. Same is with Shami as well.
Yeah, yeah. All right. Well,
Uh,
quick thoughts on England's batting approach. Okay.
Going into the game, we did say it was going to be Root and Butler who they're going to look up to. They had a really strong, aggressive start, right? Phil Salt was smoking the ball all around alongside Ben Duckett. But then, when the wickets fell, I don't think, Harry Brooks was out pretty quick. Liamston was out pretty quick. So your likes of Joe Root again. Joe Root, I would say was, I mean, for the standards of Joe Root, that was the tricky way that he got at. But essentially, it was Joe Root and Butler who were trying to stabilize the innings. But constant fall of wickets on one end meant, apart from that big partnership at the top of the innings of 75 between Salt and Duckett, and then you have Jacob and Josh Butler, a decent 90 odd partnership. If you have
Yeah.
a 90 here, a 60 there, and the rest of the partnerships are nowhere, then it's hard to sort of put up a total, especially when you're batting first, when you have decided to bat first.
Like when I saw the opening stand start in the first 5 overs, I was like 400, 400's
Yeah,
on,
yeah.
boys. This pitch looks flat, and 400's on. And then I went away, and then the run out happened. And as soon as the run out happened, I opened it again, and then I was like, oh, all right. And it's like by the time I even opened the thing, they were already four down, or I think
Yeah,
three down. Like
I think
because
after
Harry Brook
after
just
that
came in and out.
after that first wicket, they lost three wickets in a flurry, right? And then
Did you see? Did you
a
see
smoke.
who the run out was from?
Jadeja, was it? It was Jadeja, right?
Nah, he looked like Jadeja, but he's not Jadeja. It's Ayat,
I Oh
the
man, the
man, the
man
man
is.
who's the man who wasn't gonna play. some some masala for you there.
Oh
Um,
man,
like he
yeah,
literally opened up the floodgates because I think till then
exactly.
none of our bowlers had any clue what was happening,
And
including
and
Shami
the
because they were literally hitting a four whenever they wanted to.
I think again, Shami with Harshit Rana this was the opening bowlers. They were playing pretty slow and they were cautious with Shami, but they were
Yeah,
smoking Harshit on the other end. He being on
and
debut was a bit nervous, I felt. And
but the
then
thing is
once they got
that
confidence with Harshit and they got settled
uh,
in, they started smoking Shami as well. Like,
yeah, yeah,
guys, you
exactly.
gotta be, tight on both ends.
Um,
Uh,
and then I think Jadeja also showed up. So if you look at the numbers, Jadeja versus Aksar, because people were already chirping that hey maybe Aksar should be your primary all rounder and Jaddu should be your retired boy.
yeah,
But
yeah.
Jaddu look just look
Mhm.
at Jaddu's economy against England,
Yeah, this is a tricky
2.88.
argument. This conversation because just looking at the last game, right? Jaddu proved his worth both on field. Man, this guy is 38, and whenever the ball goes past him, he chases right till the boundary as if a young 23,
Yeah,
year old. Great
yeah,
bowling.
yeah,
Now, coming to Aksa, he did do a decent bowling, but he also scored 50 odd runs with the bat as well. And
yeah,
and this is on a pitch where Rohit and Jaiswal struggled. But this guy walks up in the middle. I'm like, yeah, I don't care. I'm a all rounder now and smokes a 50. So it's going to be a tough argument. And I think
yeah. And
it's nice to have this discussion. I'll be happy
but
if the both of them continue to fight out for their spots.
No, but the other crazy thing with Exeter is not just that he gave you runs, but he's also your floater that will balance out the right hand left hand combination.
Yeah,
So if you need a left hander,
100%.
they'll just inject Exeter in, and he
Exactly,
gives you a
exactly.
stable score. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, so he's time and again proven that he's capable with the bat. He did do a decent innings in that T20 World Cup finals, which sort of helped Kohli to score whatever runs he'd scored on the other end. Even in the previous game as well, rocks up, scores a 50, and gets bowled to a really good delivery. I don't know if you've seen, but it pitches outside, quite outside the off stump, spins in through the gap and hits the leg stump. I'm like, oh my god, this
yeah.
is
Bold.
this is the Shane Warne's ball of the
It's
century
the
moment
reverse bowl of century.
again. um,
Okay,
talking
so then
about Indian
yeah,
batting. Oh, go ahead.
yeah, go on. Yeah, and I was
Uh,
going to ask you that same question, but I'll give you my thoughts.
yeah.
um, well, I think Jaiswal's debut was also going to be his last match for a while, because surely Ayer's going to stick around, and Kohli's going to make a comeback this game, um,
Yeah.
and Gill is going to move up one spot because again Gill was that anchoring sheet that we need for the 50 overs. He took his time, batted so well. Every single shot that he hit was either along the ground or piercing the field where there's no fielder and he could take a bit of risk with the lofted drive. Um, but the only worrying factor for me is we need the captain runs. We need
Uh,
him to score runs.
yeah. It's not just
He
captain
took
alone.
seven
I think
balls.
we also need Virat. Hopefully, the
Well,
the
he
the
wasn't in the
force.
team, right? So yeah,
Virat and Rohit, both of them to jump in with runs. Yep. Or
but
else, you're now carrying a
the
big
problem,
burden of
yeah,
two
but the problem is
star players.
with Rohit Sharma.
Hmm.
Star players, yes, but like the problem with Rohit Sharma is he looks undercooked. Like he doesn't look confident.
Hmm.
Whereas with Kohli, it was always that outside off, but he'd walk in like a king. He would start scoring like a king. Like he was literally maneuvering the ball until that ball comes to the fifth stump, second slip or first slip. You're not going to have that problem as much in ODIs. The ball stops moving after the first 5 overs.
Well, the ball did not have to move for for Virat even in Test games. It was the ball had to be in that fifth stump line. That's it. And I'm sure the moment Virat walks in, I wouldn't be surprised if Josh Butler is going to get his star bowlers. All right, fifth line stump. Let's bowl here.
Yeah.
Get a first or a second slip in as well, just to get under the
No,
skin of Virat.
but there's a massive difference with the way they play that same ball in ODIs versus Test match. So that fifth, sixth stump ball, I don't think Kohli will try to drive that ball. He will literally just dab it down to third man and get a single. That's how he's been so successful in ODI cricket. Just
Basic
getting off
question:
strike.
why can't he do the same in Test as well? Let's stab it down,
He can't.
until you get
No, no,
used to your drives.
he can't do that in Test match because there's a massive cordon of slip that's standing there.
Uh,
But in ODI, you don't have that.
just to mess up with Kohli, you never know. The moment he walks in, massive slip cordons back. Uh, 25th over, he walks into the pitch, and then you see three slips.
But my issue is Rohit Sharma needs to be confident because then his captaincy calls that he'll take will actually come out like that. If you're
Yeah.
undercooked yourself, then some of the calls that you take in on field might become a bit defensive and won't come across as well. So we need him to be at least at his 80%, if not 100, which he doesn't
Well,
look like he is. Like even the shot that he got out on, that little glance that he played and he just put it up. It wasn't a top edge or anything. It came off the face, but he was too early on it somehow, um, and he just spooned
yes,
it up.
6 months ago, that would have gone into the stands, and in 6 months, it's just gone up inside the 30
Yeah,
yard circle. Uh, well, we got the
and the thing is,
next
I think
game.
it's the outside chat that's getting to him.
Well, these two players are, I'd say two because both of them are in constant discussions these days in every news arena possible.
But but no no but Chai, distinct difference is Kohli actually has a weakness, but Rohit Sharma's found different ways of getting out every game, and he hasn't even had that many bad games. That's my problem. So if
uh,
until that Sri Lanka series, he was your best batter. Even in New Zealand, the match that he got a 50 in, till then he was our most informed batter. And then
yeah.
he had two bad games in India, and then he misses one game, and then people are talking shit about why he's not in the country, why is he not playing such a big series, comes back, maybe the baby didn't let him sleep or something, I don't know. But from that day onwards,
Yeah.
second match, third match, and the fourth match, because the last game he again didn't play. So
Well,
he's only had four bad games, four or five bad games.
yeah, it's clearly out the outside chatter that's definitely got into
Because
him.
even the Sri Lankan ODIs, he was your highest run scorer.
He, he was the guy that was playing, that was scoring runs while the
Even though we
rest of the
lost the
team
series,
won.
even though we
Yeah,
lost the
exactly.
series, yeah,
Oh well, we got two more ODIs. Hopefully, he rocks it. And this is the thing, right? For these sort of champion players, all they need is one good game, and
yeah,
that is
just
it. Before we had the technical issues, I was saying, we're not looking at the good old Rohit Sharma of 2015, 2016s, where he was scoring these massive double hundreds. All you're asking, or all we expect at this point, is a good hit, right? A
yeah.
quick fire 50, a quick fire 60, right? Just middling the ball, couple of
Yeah.
shots out of the fence, and I think that should get the confidence back. And yeah, like you rightly said, if he gets confidence on with his bat, which is his main reason of being
His
part of the
primary
team,
skill, yeah,
yeah, the captaincy is just gonna go to that next level, which is what we need going into Champions Trophy.
yeah. But the other crazy thing, Chai, I think this is where Ravi Shastri would have been really good as a coach. Would have been like, Para, don't worry, just go out and smash the ball. Whereas I think Gambhir would just be like,
Hmm. Yeah, it's again absolutely the coaching styles from what we see is very different. Um,
yeah,
if you see, India has been pretty successful in the T20 squad because it's all youngsters who have never dealt with or played alongside Gambhir. So it's a different sort of a relationship that they are all having, and it's more that mentor sort of thing, which I think is working in that. It's doing what it's supposed to do in T20 world.
yeah.
But coming to ODIs, these have all been previous players that have shared the dressing room, and now all of a sudden, you got to take instructions from a guy that was essentially your PR. Maybe is what is
I,
causing a bit
I,
of.
I don't even think, nah, I don't even think it's that. I think it's probably just the way they conduct their stuff. Like the ethos of how he coaches versus how Ravi Shastri would have coached in these instances. Because I think
Hmm,
this may just put more pressure on Rohit of like, hey, you have to perform if you want to stay in the team, versus Ravi Shastri would have been like, Prada, you do what you want, just be as free as possible. I got you. I'm not sure if
yeah.
Gambhir would do that. Like, I mean, again, we're just speculating. We don't have any actual insights, but that's probably what the difference is. But we'll find out tonight.
Yeah.
Kohli's coming back. Hopefully,
So
Rohit Sharma gets some runs.
who do you reckon is
That
gonna
Jaswal.
make Jaiswal? Yeah,
Yeah, Jaswal.
I would be
Jaswal gets the
gutted. I would
chop.
be gutted if Iyer has to take the high
Yeah, no
road.
way. Yeah, no,
Yeah.
yeah, like if I don't mind if they drop him from the game. If they tell him that, hey, we're not dropping you, we're just trying to see what combinations work for us. You're gonna be in the 11 from the start of Champions Trophy. Don't stress. Um,
Yeah.
because
And
the thing is that
again,
they probably want to give Jaiswal some game time in case if they get an injury or something somewhere.
yeah. Now this is I think what we were speaking straight after that Sri Lanka ODI series that we only had what 6 ODIs in total for the last 6 months leading into Champions Trophy,
Yeah,
and doesn't give enough game time for me. If Jaiswal has to be has to be dropped for Virat, and if Shreyas is part of your core lineup, I would say play the core team
Play him.
right
Yeah,
from
yeah,
game two, right? The more time that this your playing 11 gets to play together, the better it is when they actually face or start participating in Champions Trophy. Yep, game time is important for Jaiswal, but he's done the debut. He's ticked off rather than debuting at the in a game in Champions Trophy. He already has a debut under his belt, so tick.
yeah,
Now just focus on your core playing 11 that's going to be on the field for the first game in Champions Trophy. Play the same team in the next two. In case Bumrah makes it up, which I don't think I think he's ruled out for third game.
yeah,
Um,
yeah. He is.
yeah, you go with your core playing 11, let Jaiswal and Arshdeep, if these are all your reserve players. It's not that they've never played at an international level before. They've played in tests and T20s. So
Yeah,
yeah, how I'd feel just stick with 11. Swap Jaiswal out for Kohli, and from a bowling, I felt this was pretty strong, stable attack. Gave a lot of variation and flexibility with the Hardik, rolling his arm as well.
yeah, yeah. Um, wait, so you're saying no actually for the rest of the series if he's not Harry or first 11, right? That's what you're saying.
Yeah, yeah. From here on, whoever is your first playing 11, or your playing 11 for Champions Trophy for game one, stick with the same team.
Yeah. Also, what did you think about the end of India innings when they were batting?
The
Um,
collapse.
the collapse, yeah, and it was what like the whole collapse what happened for one, trying to finish the game in style, like trying to hit sixes and fours. And the other reason was they wanted Shubman to get a handy, so the other person was like unnaturally slower to like score runs
I'm
because they needed like 10
sure.
or 11 yeah, runs, and they wanted Shubman to get there.
I'm sure Gambhir would have had a decent chat with every single player after the game. Let's
I
not
actually
go
reckon,
for records.
yeah,
And
I actually reckon what,
Hardik Pandya would have had an extra special notes for finishing the game with a six.
yeah, yeah. No, but well, I don't think they finished it with a six anyway. In the end,
Did they?
it was an edge that so it was an edge
Yeah.
that went to third man off of Jadeja's bat,
Ah,
and they
yeah.
went for a four, and that's how it finished. But it was funny because I think Gill was like going his at his speed, like rotating the strike, single, single, and I think KL was trying to like block the ball, and while like blocking and nudging, he got out.
Yeah.
So I think as soon as Pandya came in, he went and spoke to Gill, and he was like, Gilbo, you want to get the runs, get the
Yeah.
next
Let's.
over, because after that, I'm gonna try finish this thing. And Gill tries to do that, he gets out.
Nah, yeah. I mean, yeah. Your hundreds and fifties are all of glory. Finishing the game in a six is a glory, but I think finishing and winning the game should come in first.
Yeah.
So yeah, Axer got out for a peach of a delivery, right? There was
Oh
nothing
yeah,
wrong
yeah,
with the
yeah.
way he
Not
got
him,
out.
not him. Yeah,
But after Axer, that and things could have turned had it was we just needed 20 odd runs or 25 runs when Axer or 30 close to 30 runs when Axer got out.
yeah.
Had it been 60, now you're staring, and those quick two wickets would have turned the game upside down. Yeah,
Yeah.
overall, yeah, I'm in with Gambhir on this one. Get the game under your belt, then scoring
Just finish
100.
it. Just finish the game.
Finish it,
Yeah.
yeah. Natural two wickets
Like
would have turned the game upside down.
plus you need to
Yeah,
think about it, right? Like I
overall,
think a not out's
yeah,
just as good because your numbers are still
I'm
going to be
in with
inflated because it
Gambhir on
doesn't
this
count
one.
as an out, right?
Get the game under your belt, then scoring 100.
Cool.
Finish it,
Expectations
yeah.
from tonight's game?
Natural flow of game, right? If you're scoring, don't slow down.
Wow. So
Exactly.
you think it's
Yeah.
an England's game?
Now, I want to see Rohit and Virat, but I'm still, part of me is still sticking on to the 2-1 tipping in England's favor. So I'm expecting, um, yeah, I'm expecting England to bounce back on this one. And I mean, it's good for the good reasons, to keep the competition healthy and get the third game even more competitive, a real life, a real game simulation rather than if India wins the second one, the third one we're going to go and experiment and explore and
Yeah.
rotate and do all the
Like,
combinations, which
but
I'm not in favor of. So
it's really
yeah,
hard to
I'm
support England
expecting
because it
England.
just feels like they have no
This
method to the
Butler
madness
and
when it comes to the
Liam
batting, at least.
Livingston,
Because
the
they
two
want to just come in
key
and
players
smoke the
from an England
ball,
perspective that I'm
regardless of what
watching out.
happens. There's only two people who've shown maturity in the way they want to take the game, right? Is Root and well, Butler. His natural game is to like play how he plays, right? But I think even Bessel, for someone who's young, has shown like, hey, I can take my time and bat through for as long as I need to, till I feel settled for me to attack, which I don't think anyone else has shown so far.
Mhm. Yeah, I think
Yeah,
this feels like that similar statement that Gambhir made for T20 squad, where this when India got out pretty cheaply in one of the games, and we always aim to score
basically,
big,
if
and we
Ayat, no,
often
no,
collapse.
basically,
Oh,
if Ayat
in
had not
that process, we
instigated the run
collapsed a
out,
couple of times. I feel this was that England's collapse. But if you see the way they got started, that first had that flurry of wickets not piled up, had Harry Brooks stayed on the ground for a little
yeah,
longer.
yeah.
Basically, if Kohli did not do what what he did the night
But
before,
you know how you said once in a while
there
you'll
could
get the
there would have been no
collapse. I
iron
think
on
the
the
way
field, which
England does it,
meant
I think you're gonna get
different
more
fortunes, right?
collapses
And
than
there are a lot of
like
ifs
more
and
big
buts, but I
scores.
feel this is England's
Um,
way, right? They only know one way of playing,
but yeah, I
aggressive
think
cricket.
yeah, if luck
But
is with
yeah, there
England,
needs.
England will win. Because their process I don't think is solid enough for them to take it over the line. Um, so yeah, I reckon India's game tonight.
Yeah. Hmm.
Yeah,
Well, yeah. Oh, that's cool. All right. I think let's. We've both made our choices pretty evident. England here, India with you, Raj. So yeah, the game starts in about 5 hours from the time of us recording this episode.
nice.
So yeah, let's. I'm expecting for a good contest, right? In leading into Champions Trophy, it should be a good contest between bat and ball from both the squads. I think that's essentially what I'm looking after at the end of game. All right, let's wrap it up
Yeah,
on
yeah,
that note.
yeah.
Like, share, subscribe, watch our previous videos. And yeah, we've had a bit of a technical glitch in between. So if you experience any discontinuity, we blame it on technology.
Yeah.
Cool, cool. All right. Stay
Adios,
tuned,
amigos.
folks. We'll come
Bye.
back soon.